Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started with today's luncheon. My name is Rebecca Furta. I'm going to be your moderator today for the Manatee Tiger Bay Luncheon, so welcome. If you could please stand with me and we'll do our Pledge of Allegiance. Right behind us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All righty. So, I'd like to recognize any veterans or active duty members in our audience today. If so, please stand for recognition. There we are. Thank you. All righty, and next I would like to recognize our dignitaries in the audience. So far I have Councilman Josh Kramer of Ward 3. Where are you? Right over here. I have Councilwoman Pam Coachman of Ward 5, right over here. And then we have our two Chief of Police, Chief Scott Taylor of Palmetto and Chief Melanie Bevan of Bradenton. Thank you. My apologies, Councilwoman Coker and Councilman Barnaby. Thank you so much. Sorry. Thank you. Alrighty. Just as a reminder, could you please silence your cell phones so that we can all enjoy this conversation with our mayors pleasantly? Today's topic is just that, our conversation with our mayors. So we're going to start this one off a little different. I'm going to ask the initial question, and then after that, I'd like to open it up to the audience to start that conversation. All right? So mayors, for each of you, how are you each actively contributing to the enhancement of tourism and urban development with a focus on both attracting more tourists and improving the quality of life for your citizens? Where do you want to start? I'll start with you, Mayor Shirley.
Thank you. Yeah, we've been quite busy and intend to continue being quite busy. As you know, the Marriott Hotel is well underway, and of course Manatee County has been very gracious with us and working with us on the enhancements to the convention center that are going to be improving that. Also, in that same general area, we've gone ahead and we've put a roundabout in that area for some of the traffic that's going to be an issue. And also at the north end of town, we're finishing up another roundabout there. We've done Connor Park, which is a dual purpose park. It's environmental, but it's also a really nice place for people to come and enjoy one of our, basically a tourist site as well. So we do have a lot of things that are going on. We're trying to improve our gateway to the city. We're trying to redevelop some other things that will attract people to the city of Palmetto. We feel like the most important thing that we can do is to continue and keep our city safe, and along those lines we just finished our 20,000 square foot new police department, which we're very, very proud of. So that's the cornerstone in my mind of having a successful component to your visitors to Manatee County and to our city of Palmetto. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I apologize. I jumped the gun. I totally forgot to introduce your mayors to you. So, and I know their name tags are a little small to read from out there, but I apologize. So we do have Mayor Shirley Groover Bryant from Palmetto. And then we also have Mayor Judy Tisworth from Holmes Beach, and Mayor John Chappie from Bradenton Beach, and then of course Mayor Brown from Bradenton. Welcome. Thank you all. All right.
Thank you, and thank you for this opportunity to speak. This is a lot of fun.
So far.
Except I wrote a speech. I didn't know it was all questions and answers, but that's okay. We have a thriving tourist industry. We actually can accommodate 10,000 visitors in our resort housing units and motels. It's brought a wonderful economy to our businesses out in the city, but it's all about balance. We also have residents that love all the extra restaurants and stores and shops that they have to go to, but we also have to appreciate their quality of life. So with that, we've invested with adding employees to the city. We've got a great code compliance department and a very active vacation rental certificate program. We're blessed with the fact that we weren't preempted. We have actual length of stay limits, which is wonderful. I think that's why we've been able to retain our residents, and we're actually gaining residents. Our population is actually increasing, which is amazing. We've invested so much in our parks. We've got one of the best skate parks out here. We've got pickleball. We've got a dog park. We've got baseball. We've got our tennis courts. We've invested a lot in our parks, and we did almost probably a $3 million improvement in our city center, which added bike lanes that were never there before. We have sidewalks on both sides. We have lighted crossing beacons. Unfortunately, we have had some fatalities because a lot of tourists come to Sarasota. They take an Uber. They get to the island. They either rely on the trolley system, golf carts, bikes, or walk. And a lot of our roads weren't up to the standards to accommodate that many visitors and keep them safe. So the city has invested a lot in adding some multi-use paths, and we're continuing to work on it on Golf Drive too, because that is the heart of our resort housing district. A big thing is also the tourism industry has also increased our property values tremendously. And people are making big investments out here, so we have to be resilient. So we are also spending a lot of money seeking and obtaining a lot of grants in order to increase the resiliency of the city, raise some of the roadways, and we're just going to continue to do that.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Chaffee?
Hi, my name is John Chappie from Bradenton Beach, and I'd like to also thank Tiger Bay for having this little get-together and talk with the mayors and with you, of course. It's always great to be out there. That's one of the major part of our job is communicating and talking with our constituents throughout Manatee County because, let's face it, the island is also the county's part of the county, and the cities are part of the county, and the county's part of the city. Sometimes that gets a little lost, but we work on it in partnering with the county. With tourism, of course, the main thing that has been happening over the last, 10 years or so with the changes that have happened in Tallahassee regarding transient lodging, it's kind of changed the rules, it has changed the rules and the guidelines that have caught some of us, of course, kind of off guard. And we're all trying to figure out the best way for our residents and our visitors to handle it and deal with it and make it the best experience for our visitors and the quality of their life when they're here, and even to some degree, of course, more important, to make the quality of life for our permanent residents that are still here. Unlike Holmes Beach, we have lost a few. We are still hovering around 1,000, maybe a little bit under for permanent residents. At the peak, we only had 1,500 residents to begin with. And there's a lot of cities in the state that have 15 and under for residency. So it's not an unusual thing for the state of Florida or probably any state. We've had challenges. One of the major things that is happening, and we've been planning for it and working for it over the last 5 years or so with the Complete Streets project that FDOT is coming up with. You're familiar with Bradenton Beach. It's very narrow. We're about 2.7 miles long. People are walking everywhere, and with a 50-foot right-of-way for Golf Drive, it's very difficult. The Complete Street project is going to be working, and we have worked with them for the last several years on better sidewalks, walking paths, bike lanes, landscaping, traffic calming, the whole 9 yards, and the PD&E is supposed to be starting very soon. Our top priority for the last several years has been to underground all of our utilities, and we're doing that with a lot of appropriation grants. We missed the last cycle. We're hoping to get the next cycle. And the reason I bring that up, on Gulf of Mexico Drive for the Complete Streets, to make it easier and safer for our residents and our visitors to go walk along or ride their bikes. We need better infrastructure on Gulf of Mexico Drive. It also includes, of course, stormwater. So we're trying to, and we put in an application. We're hopefully going to get it because the timing is perfect. We're trying to get these poles, big, huge concrete poles, out of the way, out of the right of way, to give us that extra 3-4 feet, whatever it takes. And believe me, 3 or 4 feet makes all the difference in the world when you're talking about sidewalks or bike lanes or bikeways. So that's probably our greatest challenge right now. Is once we get the money, we'll be moving forward with that. And of course, the big thing is we're locked in with Florida Power and Light with prices from 3 years ago. So this is our last year to stay locked in. So we're pushing all the elected officials, and we have a lot of support from our local county commission, the chairman. Also, we have our state representatives, the senator and the representatives are helping, and they're actually sponsoring that bill. So we're looking forward to getting that taken care of. One of the other major projects we're doing that really will enhance the quality of life and our environment and for tourism, of course, is our CRA and the recreation and revitalization of our commercial area, which was a dying area when in 1992 we enacted that whole project. So they say you go to you go up to Anna Maria or Holmes Beach to kind of live and you have some fun, but if you really want to have fun, you come to Bridge Street. And one of the main things for Bridge Street in the revitalization and redevelopment of Bridge Street has always been adult family friendly. And we follow that guideline very strictly. And we have our patrol officers specifically for that area. And you'll see 1 or 2 or 3. We've had no problems. Once in a while you'll have something, but nothing of any consequence. So those are the 2 big things. And then we're working on our waterfronts area in the CRA, which is 1,800 feet. When you go to the tip of and redoing all the infrastructure and things along that 1,800 feet, the 660-foot pier, the floating dock facilities to get people to be able to come into our waterfront area, walk down the street, eat, whatever they want to do, go down Bay Drive, Bay Drive South, which connects to that waterfront area, the boardwalk, the clock tower, and then goes down 5th Street to meet up with the multi-use trail that the county is actually going to be redoing. They should start construction within the next month. So that whole 1,800 feet is just going to be such a really neat walkable way for our residents and our visitors to get around. And it's also connected with underneath the bridge. So I'm going to shut up with that because sometimes I go on a little more than I should.
He's
Mayor?
very passionate.
Thank you. And just obviously want to thank Tiger Bay for having us today. And obviously, a lot of times information is king. You get the wrong information, you think something different, you get the correct information, and you're hoping to move forward. But one of the things in the city of Bradenton, obviously, too, which happens is it's about collaboration, because we're kind of the center between Holmes Beach, Bradenton Beach, Palmetto, and when you're moving through, a lot of our traffic, I know that's one of the things, what are we doing for tourists, but traffic is one of the things we get asked a lot about, and sometimes it's not actually the Bradenton traffic that is causing the situation. It's the traffic coming from north, southeast, and then wanting to go to the west, and then obviously coming back. So one of the important things that I've always thought as a councilman, now as mayor, is what are we going to do to get some of that traffic to stop and want to be in the urban core of Bradenton. So when you look at some of the projects we're working on now, and probably the most fun project is our city park project that we're working with the TDC and the county and the Pirates to work. We know LECOM, formerly McKechnie Field, celebrated its 100th year of baseball this year. We're the 3rd oldest baseball park in the Major League Baseball. Obviously, most people will be able, if you're a baseball fan, Chicago, Cubs, and then Fenway. And then the park that's the next is LECOM. So we've been around a long time and really trying to revitalize that. Obviously, we're spring training, and we have the Marauders, which is a low A ball now. But we wanted to energize that area to help energize the rest of the city. And we'll go over some of those other projects in a minute. But if we can make that a 12-month park instead of just 6 weeks of Major League Baseball. We can bring in tournaments, obviously working with the county. You know, you bring in, and all of us in this room, if you've had any type of travel ball with your kids, you know, all different sports or grandkids, you know that people travel a lot, and, you know, we can bring in tens of millions of dollars downtown to that urban core when they start to have tournaments and different opportunities. So, but you got to have the fields. And as our administrator came up with, Rob Perry, play where the pros play. So some of that is exciting too, but, you know, we're working through that, trying to change a little bit of the dynamics in that urban core part of the city, and then as well as kind of getting to Village of the Arts, coming downtown, and you get on Main Street. We have a great Main Street right now, but it's kind of hit its limits of what it can grow to. So obviously, you know, there's some pictures over there. 25 years ago, City Hall was moved from the old City Hall site, which is on Wares Creek, which the county owns. So a lot of people still think we own that, but it's actually owned by the county now, and moved to where we are. Well, that's one of our primest pieces of property in the city. So do you want government services on your primest piece of property? So you've got to weigh that balance, as I've heard up here from a couple others, of what is the best thing to do to vitalize or revitalize some of the areas while still keeping that growth in a positive way, but not overdoing it. So, you know, City Hall is for sale. We've got a buyer. You know, and you talk about that, and we got some things. If you look at some of our pictures, we've got our police station, our City Hall property that we're working towards. We're working on a new fire station, some of the public service things as you go through. But if we can bring down a development into that City Hall property that, you know, probably shouldn't have been there in the first place. But we're at that point, we've got to get to it. Couldn't sell it day one. I know 25 years ago, Mr. Callahan's here in the office, had a lot to do with that over his years in the city and really worked well in our city. But, you know, you bring that development down, a $400 to $500 million project there, bring more people, bring more retail, and really try to bring that street alive where people want to go. And that's what I believe that we're working towards, is development, but smart growth, and trying to really revitalize that area. Great restaurants there now, but we need more of them. We don't need any more bars. I'm not afraid to say that. We need restaurants that may have a bar and a restaurant, but not just a nighttime, because as my mom would always say before she passed, nothing good happens after midnight. And you can go to the two police chiefs here, and they would probably confirm that, you know. So when you look, but some other things we're doing downtown, obviously, we've done it for quite a while. Our public market, who is run by Realize Bradenton, as this will be the 4th week, I think, this coming Saturday. They're at record highs. One of the things I enjoyed last Saturday walking around was, you know, a lot of people in this room we'd see out there at times, but we saw a lot of young families walking around that market. And that, to me, was exciting to see. You know, young couples with babies. And so, you know, they're starting to get that a little bit about the vibe in downtown Bradenton. You know, because you can do it. And I agree with Mayor Chappie and the other mayors that, you know, we all, if you're generationally from here or you've been here a while, it's fun to go out to Bradenton Beach, Bridge Street once in a while. It's fun to go out to probably my favorite restaurant, The Feast, on Holmes Beach, because it's all you can eat crab legs. So if you know me, you know I like crab legs. So just those fun things. And then Palmetto, and I'll say it now before she says it, I do owe Mayor Bryant a meal.
Yes.
But there's a big game Friday night, Manatee Palmetto, and we'll see how that kind of goes, and then we'll do it. But
I've checked with the team already. They said, go ahead and make the bet.
Make the bet, okay. But I think you see that, and that's one of the things for me always, and being, you know, with my grandkids, they're 7th generation Manatee County, and my family, the first 3 were Cortez fishermen, the 3 through my son are obviously we have our funeral home, but, and then the grandkids. So, you know, we're excited about what's going on, but we also want to generationally change the way Bradenton thinks to keep the baby boomer population with something to do downtown, instead of saying, well, I got to go to Sarasota or I got to go to St. Pete. Again, we don't want to overgrow, but we want to do things that are great. Just a couple other good events that are happening in Bradenton coming up. Main Street Live series is back. It's going to have a new name after this Saturday night, but this is the Halloween one. This year, obviously, and last year we had it. I think this year it'll be even better. New Year's Eve, one of the big things to me and our council was to have the New Year's Eve celebration, but have fireworks downtown. So last year, they were shot off the top of the county building, and you say that might be dangerous, but we actually paid a little extra money. We get the same fireworks that they use at the Super Bowl that don't have the amber. It's a paper fireworks. So that's something that I think is important because a lot of places around had gone away from fireworks over the years, and that's something that's exciting. And we probably had 8,000 people downtown at midnight last year, and it was a family-friendly event. So that's important. The Blues Fest that's been run by Realize Bradenton, that's back on December 1st and 2nd. Winter Wonderland, which is, you could probably call it Barnaby Winter Wonderland because of what Mark and Mary Ann Barnaby had done over all the years in that and basically funded it. We brought in Realize Bradenton so we can transition a little bit so they don't have to kill their kids when we're doing it because they did such a great job. And then obviously the regatta is back in February. And this will be the 9th regatta, and then, we've got it through the 10th. And I know we work great with our partners in Palmetto because it is a lot of heavy lifting to close a bridge when you talk about traffic. So there's just a lot of stuff going on with things that we have to collaborate because all of our roads lead to each other. One of the things that I'm excited about, and I know we'll work through some of the issues that are with it, but is our water taxi. It's been talked about for years and years and years, and the county was able to work out through their transit part of it that, it'll come from our day dock here. Right now, it'll go out to Bradenton Beach and then to, the other is
Don't get it.
the dock. So, no, I'm talking about Holmes Beach. We'll work something out that'll work out because, again, we want to get the cars off the road. And then the biggest thing is I'm excited when the Marriott opens and how to work it across to the Palmetto at times because think about it, and it's $10 all day. $8 one way, $10 all day. So you can ride it, and really, if you can get on it and get out from Bradenton here out to any of the islands at some point and just hop around. Sarasota has contacted and is interested in trying to find some landing points. So I think things can be worked out where that's fun for us. That's fun for the local people, and it'll really be fun for the tourist. And, because you could pop in to the island if you're staying in Bradenton. From the island, you can pop in here for the day and not have to get in the car. So a lot of great things going on. Obviously, they introduced, and we've got a lot of staff here, and I'm just proud to say that we've got a great staff with the leadership in our administrator, Rob Perry, and all the council people that are out there. And, we all have different political beliefs at sometimes, but we all have one goal, to make Bradenton and Manatee County better. So thank you, and we look forward to your questions.
All righty. Okay, so we're going to open it up for questions. Just a couple of reminders. In order to ask any questions of our speakers, we do ask that you go to the microphone that's located right here. Christy will assist you. At this time, we do have only members that are allowed to ask. You have 30 seconds to ask your question, and we would like you to direct it to one of the speakers, if you may. We understand this may be there may be a few questions that could be directed to all, but do try to limit your question length to that 30-second. And again, just to remind everyone, we'd like to be respectful of our speakers as well as anyone else that's here in attendance when asking questions. So we'll open it up now.
Come on up.
Yes, sir, you can, right behind you.
Keep in mind, Xtavia asked us to bring back the tiger by the tail, so the best question will receive this lovely basket of fall treats and free admittance to next month's luncheon.
Oops, excuse me. Hi there.
State your name.
Okay. Tony Stone, and I'm a resident of right over the border of the city and county and Riverview area. My question actually is to Mayor, and I'm sorry, I don't remember your name, Bradenton.
Mayor Brown.
And I'm curious about what the vision is that that people have generally. I was going to ask this way. And what cities in Florida would you imagine, or any other place, I guess, would you imagine Bradenton would look like?
Well, Bradenton's very unique. We have one of the uniquest charters in the state, so I don't want to say we're going to be like any other city from the standpoint of opportunity. I do know that we want to have, vision of how we connect basically our urban core area. And I consider that probably from Lecom to Village of the Arts to downtown, going down the Riverwalk and around, so we can make our city more walkable and want to be walkable. My wife and I went to Pittsburgh. We got up on a Saturday morning and we left the hotel, and by the time we got back about 1 o'clock, we had walked almost 9 miles. And we didn't feel like we had walked 9 miles because there was things to do as you kind of went that area. And that's a vision I think we all have, that we want to be able to get in our city and be able to go places and do things and not realize you walk that far. I drove here from City Hall. And I think most of us probably did. Not because we had to, but it's just what we think. And I really think that if we can make our city more walkable, we are very lucky to have some of the amenities that we already have. We're sitting in one of them right now, the Players. You've got the Art Center that's doing I think $16, $17 million upgrade. We've got the Bishop that just did an upgrade. We've got things that are going to happen on our City Hall property that is going to give that urban core life. And another thing is, vision or not, but, those of us that live downtown, we want a grocery store, but a grocery store is not going to come unless there's more people downtown. And if you have more people downtown, people say that'll be more traffic. Not if you can figure out how to live, work, and play in the area you are so you don't have to get in your car. So our vision is how we connect our downtown while still growing smart. And I don't want to disrespect any of our cities to the north or south, but I don't feel we want to be those cities where they have a little bit more overdevelopment of some of their urban core. So we want to grow smart, give opportunity, and while also, one of the biggest things for me is while also working in some of our economically challenged areas that have been maybe left behind by growing our tax base enough to be able to help the whole area in the corridor area.
If I can just follow up, or is that part of it?
We've got a lot. If you wouldn't mind getting back in line, that'd be great.
Thank you very much.
Just state your name and if you're
Okay. Yeah. Hi, I'm Liv Coleman. I'm a member of Tiger Bay. Thank you all for your presentation. I have a question for Mayor Brown. And so I'm a professor of political science at the University of Tampa, but I live in East Manatee. And we have some wonderful, talented young people, and I would love if more of them would consider this region a place where they could make their home someday. But I see kind of two big challenges. One is affordability, and then the second one is making sure that people know just that that this is a diverse community that welcomes people of color, people of different faiths, the LGBTQ community, and so forth. And so I was just wondering what Bradenton is doing to try to address getting young people, especially with these points in mind.
Good, and great question, and most important about the affordability part of it and the workforce housing and what we can do to attract people. Obviously, jobs are going to be important to that. But when you look at what the city of Bradenton is doing right now, and we've got a lot in the last couple days in the paper and some TV media that's come out and talked to me, but on 14th Street, they're building a 40 complex affordable housing project. And, and you say, okay, well, that's 40. We need 25,000 in Manatee County. Doesn't seem like a lot. Well, in the city of Bradenton, we've got several projects that are in the air now. We also have 2 projects that have been completed over the last couple years, the Addison and the Grand Palms. Grand Palms is more of a 55 and older. Addison is more of affordable housing. And then you've got the 40 unit I'm talking about now, but you also have right down the street from that, 199 in the Met. That's affordable housing that government has been involved in. All of these projects, government has been involved in. So when it has come to a balance that we then need to have some of the other in our downtown urban core. You got 920, which is a workforce housing, which is right on the corner of Manatee Avenue and 9th. And then you have Riverview 6. 920 is 137 units. Riverview 6 is in the 80, which is on 6th Avenue and 9th. Then farther down is another senior housing. So as far as for younger people, there's a lot coming in. And we have Village of the Arts, which is still even though it's been there 20 plus years, it's still trying to find itself. But I think with some opportunity with some of our downtown, and also by connecting the 3, and Lecom, and I said this 10 years ago when I ran for city council, if McKechnie Field at that time, now Lecom, was on the waterfront, it would be a lot easier to do some things. But how do we make it walkable and on the waterfront? Now, I'll take the blame, the credit on anything that happens. From when I voted for something, I voted to bring in scooters. I pushed scooters. I still think scooters someday will work. It didn't work the way we had it, and all we can say is thank goodness Ian came at the right time, and we were able to get the scooters off Riverwalk, because it didn't work. But it's still something that I think in a city that once we start to grow, because we also have Riverwalk East, which really connects things and will do things. So we have a lot of opportunity, and we have a lot of debate on our council, but that's good. So how do you keep working? But I think there's great opportunity with more to do downtown, because younger people want more to do also.
Actually, I'd like to.
Okay.
Mayor Bryant, would you like an opportunity to speak on that or answer that question as well?
The microphone.
Into the microphone.
Oh, sorry.
What was the original question? I want to make sure.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah.
What is Palmetto doing to recruit more younger people and making it more accessible so that they want to live and work in Palmetto?
Actually, that's what I thought it was. I just wanted to make sure. No, actually, we are doing a lot on our riverfront. We have a lot of plans in that area. A lot of our parks, different things for the community. Palmetto CRA put in $1.8 million towards the water park, the aquatic center at Lincoln Park. So we were heavily involved in that. But it's critical for us, and we're kind of in a struggle with certain people that have mixed up priorities, because we are working very hard. It's because they don't agree with me. But we're working very hard to finish up, and just like Riverside Drive is, that's the first phase of a multimodal corridor. And several years ago, we were awarded 5 sections of that, and they were to be spread out. So that one got done, and it's got the stormwater, to clean the stormwater. It's got all the environmental components. But even from there, the FDOT is back working with us. We're going to be moving forward to have that same treatment all the way down 10th Avenue, and that's going to be starting the end of 24, 25, back with the FDOT, because a lot of the restaurants and the different shops that are along 10th Avenue, they need opportunities for that infusion, and we have to have the redevelopment on Riverside Drive. You may have heard that we have that. It's on the street. We've now selected somebody that we are coordinating that with, and that's to bring more of a nightlife, people to live in that community, shop, and eat in the restaurants, and so that we are encouraging a different component to the community as well. Sometimes people will say, oh, but there's so much traffic, there's so much congestion. But Palmetto has not redeveloped to the degree that it needs to. That traffic at this point in time is not Palmetto's traffic. It's from a lot of the growth throughout the rest of the community. So we're really trying to focus on that. We have wonderful parks. We've spent an awful large amount of money on the parks. Just like, I'm saying, coming to like Connor Park, our Veterans Park, Sutton Park, the different parks in Palmetto are gems. They are truly gems. But to bring a younger element to the community, we have to have the redevelopment to attract more businesses, more variety of businesses, and to keep our young people. They don't have to go other places for excellent jobs. They have excellent opportunities. They have a wonderful place to live in the city of Palmetto. And I think we're totally going in the right direction. And one of the things that I would have to say is our CRA, our Community Redevelopment Agency, has been a great partner for us, and hopefully that will continue until it sunsets at some point. But it does really help and make a difference. And if you're not familiar with that, I think it helps you look at it if you really care about government and what's going on and how you can use the funding. It may not be the most exciting book you read as you're going to bed, but read chapter 163 of Florida statutes, and it will tell you what a wonderful component that is for the different areas. Manatee County, City of Palmetto, Bradenton, we all have CRAs. So I would say that's been wonderful for us, but that's going to help us to increase that younger component. We try to have a diverse community. Every year we have a multicultural festival, and to bring everybody together, because that's what it's all about.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jane Filesticker, and I am a member. And I have a question, and I apologize for this because I'm going to address it to all of you who wish to answer. I'm a dinosaur. I read a paper newspaper every morning. And in that paper newspaper, I'm continually reading about conflicts between the cities and the county. And so I was wondering if you guys could each address to us, if you wish to, the nature of your relationship with the county government at this point in time.
For the city of Bradenton, and one of the things that we started a couple years ago was a collaboration where we wanted to have a city-county meeting, because 20-plus years ago, there was some very angst about some annexation that the city did out on our waterways, and obviously I wasn't involved in that, but we've come together. We work with our county very well. We talk with them quite a bit. Obviously, we don't always agree on everything, but we do talk, and I think that the only way, and I think up here too, there's collaboration on a lot of things we do. Sometimes we disagree on certain things, and that's just what life is, but you still have to look at the overall goal as how you make something out of it. And I've always said, you know, I'm going to have friends on everything, whether what election has come, because you've got to work together to make it better for the citizens, and that's important to me. And just because you're a friend with somebody doesn't mean you always agree with them, but you have to work together to make things better.
You can go.
We'll save the best for later on. Yeah, you know, there's always going to be differences of opinions. The number one reason I ran for county commission was because of what Gene just said, Mayor Brown. And it was the thinking that the county and the cities are separate. And I know I've already used that phrase, the county's part of the cities are part of the county, and it wasn't that way. And we have made major improvements over the years. Bradenton Beach has I think, a very good working relationship with Manatee County. We partner in a number of things, and why shouldn't we? 1/3 of the city is county property. So, you know, whether we were forced to or a matter of necessity, we work with the county on a lot of things, and it has also given us some great opportunities as a municipality to move forward with some ideas and some thoughts and some work that's been done out there. We're currently partnering, it's a long haul, but the parking situation and the utilization of Cortez Beach parking area and Coquina Beach parking area. And we're working on we're going to get a plan drawn up for kind of doing work that the county looks favorable upon. So far, they haven't seen the final thing, to add some extra parking just south of the north boat ramp on the bay side, and also some parking for employees, because there just isn't enough parking out there. We are more of a resort community in Bradenton Beach than the other two island cities. It's kind of always been that way. Visitors come out there, absentee owners. It's increased, again, because of a lot of actions from our state legislators. It is what it is. Right now, we're looking at about only 10% of our homes are homesteaded. It's not very many. I think Holmes Beach or Anna Maria is 30%. It's Anna Maria, I believe. Our residents are kind of forced to leave, and it's sad. I've just started my 49th year out there. Yes, Barnaby, I am getting old. No. But yeah, it's a challenge. Because like Mayor Brown said, our ideas, we have different ideas. But, government's about compromise. And with the political science professor here, I would love to talk to you a little bit afterwards, because just between the county government and the city government is all the difference in the world. Totally different. We're at the lowest level, which is the government closest to the people, where, to me, is so important. This is about our neighbors. We just yell over the fence, and that's our constituents. That's where it's about. You get into the larger cities, it's a little more difficult, but it's still that way. I know Gene, he grew up out here. It's his home, too. He knows a ton of people, and I know Mayor Shirley does as well, and of course Judy, the change is a little tough for us to take sometimes. We're trying to deal with it, as I said earlier, and adjust, and partnering with the county is a big part of that. To this day, I'll thank Cliff Walters for stepping in with that whole debacle of the county and the cities working together for the annexation. It really laid some nice groundwork for all of us to cooperate and get along, and it laid out a process to where we can get together and compromise on things. Thank you.
I knew this question was going to come up. I've always had a great relationship with the county up until almost 4 years ago when there was a new board. And I don't know why it happened. The county and the cities, we all had our meetings during the COVID, and DeSantis had done the stay-at-home order, and everybody decided how to address it. We all wanted to be in sync, and so we were. The county closed their beaches, parking lot. They closed Kingfish with boulders. We had to do the same at our beach accesses. Anna Maria did. Bradenton Beach or the county beach. I assume your parks were closed as well. And we spent a lot of money in putting up no parking signs, beach accesses. We still wanted people to get to the beaches. So if you're staying in resort housing, if you live there, whatever, if you want to take an Uber and get out there, we left our beach paths open. But we felt the safest way to handle the stay-at-home order was just to close the parking. I don't know how long it was closed. Several months. I don't remember. It was way too long ago. But it was time to open it. We had to look at, we've already sunk these signs and paid the money to do it. For the past 8 years, we've had congestion committees and everything else telling us we can't have unlimited parking. Unlimited parking. We were like one of the last communities on earth that had unlimited parking on a beach community. So we knew we had interlocal agreements that we had to comply with. We wanted to almost double that. We wanted to rearrange some of the parking to get it closer to the public beach where there was facilities, because that was one of the items we needed to address. We had probably 8 articles in newspapers. We had public hearings. We did everything right. And then after the election, the board came in and said, unless you put the parking back the way it was, all funding's cut off. Never have I ever experienced anything like that. Trying to amend relationships, trying to educate them on the reasoning, trying to show we still have adequate parking. We're taking surveys every weekend, even on spring break, showing that we still have over 100 empty spaces any given time. Nothing is making a difference. Even bought lunch for the chair. Can we just move past parking and have a relationship? Absolutely. I paid for lunch. But I'm never going to stop trying. I'm going to continue to try. Balance is everything. I want our tourism, the tourists to enjoy their experience on the beach. I want our residents to stay. I want to continue to gain the residents that we've lost. It's all about balance, and relationship is everything. And I to the day I no longer in office, I'm going to continue to work at trying to restore relationships with anyone who would like to have one.
I'd just like to say, we all tend to work really well together at our level, and even like with our regional, as far as MPO and the Florida Department of Transportation, we all collectively know critical issues that affect all of Manatee County, and we are striving to work on those, focus on those, work with the legislature on those particular things. But when they make presentations, the one thing, as for instance about the bridge, the DeSoto Bridge, I'd ask everybody to keep an open mind and listen to the staff and help to catapult that on forward, because that's one of the most critical things that we can do for our area. We are an evacuation corridor. We have to support them and work with them. These are the people that have all the training in that, and I've seen it before where it kind of, the wheels fell off and it slowed us down. So I think we'd all have to agree, we would certainly like to see that moving forward, because it's such a huge impact on Manatee County. But I think with our relationships, how we work together, we have Council of Governments meetings periodically. I think Mayor Brown mentioned that, but that really does make a difference. And if you look at how we are all impacted by the traffic, please keep an open mind and pay attention to what's going on. Always give your input, but please listen to the experts. Thanks.
Alice Newland, now for something entirely different. Some people bicycle for recreation and some for transportation. So a lot of times when you're talking about bicycling or multimodal, you're really talking about recreation. I know Turning Points repairs a lot of bicycles and gets people that don't have any other mode of transportation out on bicycles. I bicycle for transportation, and I will tell you, Bradenton does, and Palmetto, does not have the safest bicycling. And I know, Mayor Bryant, you've worked a lot on the transportation, but I don't see it blooming into something that really looks at where people need the transportation, that they could actually access it on bicycle. And I also see an explosion of everything, e-bikes, e-scooters, that they're going to fill the roads with those, and the roads aren't safe right now.
Alice, who did you want to address your question?
Mayor Bryant.
And what was your question exactly?
My question is, how are you going to make it bicycle safe?
That's where we're talking about the multimodal on 10th Avenue from Riverside Drive to 17th Street. That is all going to be multimodal with the bicycle trails and the wider sidewalks.
Yeah, that's one little strip.
But
If you're using it, if you're at Turning Points and you've been given a bike for your only method of transportation, there's not a lot of bike-safe areas.
Yeah, it's very difficult on 8th Avenue. That's why we're focusing really on Old Main Street or 10th Avenue, because it's just too hazardous there. So, and even the roundabouts that we're putting in, a lot of that is regarding multimodal. So, we're getting there.
And if, I'm willing to jump in on this too, because I am the incoming chair of the MPO, vice chair right now, and normally you roll up, so that's what we're anticipating. But one of the things that you really look at, you've got to look at our county grid, which, was built 100+ years ago. And it's something that's very difficult. And we just went in the city of Bradenton, as Mayor Bryant has done, you try to do sections, you try to do areas. And we got a great pushback by an area we just did in the city of Bradenton, because they said it's stupid because now I can't park in front of my house because there's a bike lane, and it's a bike lane to nowhere. But we've got to start somewhere. And that's the hard part about it, is we are starting in our areas, and we've looked at all of the trails up north, and you look at the trails in Sarasota. The trail in Sarasota was an old railroad crossing that you did, and you can get places. So it's very important, but we're also not miracle makers up here to change, or, because it's dangerous. Every process we've been with DOT, and they've had the last 2 years, they have great seminars out at their process for the government about traffic. And what they showed was a lady pushing her, running with the cart in that little 3-foot lane with traffic going 60 miles an hour by her. That's not good. But, so I know the DOT, the MPO, and everybody's looking at it, and we're trying to do little parts of it that maybe one day will grow into big parts, but it's not easy just to snap it, and none of us obviously created it, but we're trying to come out of it, and ideas are good. There is some citizen opportunity on those MPO boards to get in and have citizens get involved and see what they can help with it too.
Perfect.
All right, this will be our last question. This will be our last question.
Kevin Rice, South Manatee. It's campaign season. It's always campaign season, as you know. I will. This question will be for any of you that want to respond. But it is campaign season, and my question is, within the parameters of the law, as the law permits, your lives as mayors is infinitely easier if you have city councilmen and women or commission men and women who are like-minded with you, if you have a mind meld with them from day one. To what extent do your philosophy, either informally or formally, recruit and help to elect city council persons that would make life easier for you as mayor?
Okay, I'm going to limit each of you to like 30 seconds to respond, only because we're running a little bit short on time, okay?
All right, thank you. No, it's a good question. Obviously, you want to work with people, and I'm going to tell a question that got asked to me by a reporter when I had won the mayorship 3 years ago in November. And when I had resigned to run for mayor in the June before, there was 6 individuals on the council, or 5 on the council and the mayor. So 6 elected officials, and at that time they happened to all be males. And, wasn't anything, it's who ran, who was up there. And, if you looked at politically at the time, when I got in on city council in 2012 and started in 2013, my goal was to get on there and say, okay, how do we work together to make our city better? I didn't have any political wherewithal with one or the other, and at that time probably the mayor was a little nervous because the mayor that he had beat 20 years earlier, or 12 years earlier, was my cousin, Bill Evers. But Bill Evers and I have a lot of different opinions on how to do things, and Mayor Poston and I had a lot of different things at that point. But as a councilman, I said, you know what, I'm going to work for the best of the city, and I'm going to listen, I'm going to learn, and I have my political beliefs, but you still then have to work for the best of the city. So going back to the question, and the reason I'm going to say it is because you figured out at the end, but at that moment, my replacement was a female. So it was the only female on the council at that time. But when I won the mayorship, and the 2 other seats that were won were also female. And the reporter's question was, now that you're mayor, you're going to have 3 women on that council. How are you going to work with them? And, I thought about it for a second, and I said because I thought it was the stupidest question I'd ever heard, and I told him that. And I said, my mom's a woman, my wife's a woman, and my daughter's a woman. And I love all of them from the standpoint of family, but these 3 that just got elected to the council that are women have the same heart that I have for our city. We may not always agree politically, but we have the same heart for our city. And then I said to him, that's the stupidest question I ever heard, and you can quote me on that. That never came up in any newspaper articles that we saw, because that was the stupidest question I heard from that reporter. But,
All
and I'm
right.
not saying that, okay, but I'm
Mayor
just saying
Brown,
that
I'm
you got to
sorry.
work with people, no matter who's there, and you hope you have like-minded people, but you also work together, and even though we're different, we can team build.
Okay, so each of you now have 5 seconds each. No.
Ditto. I tell people when they come to me about running, I say, well, get involved. People that come up and say something and they haven't been to a single commission meeting, haven't been to a budget meeting, don't even try to get on the planning and zoning board. There are a number of boards that I think you could join and learn more about the community. Also different committees, and we have a number of them in our city of Bradenton Beach. I know Holmes Beach has a ton of them as well, the other cities as well. And that's the best way to learn about a community. You have to start getting involved to understand what's really going on behind the curtain. And it's very interesting. It's a lot of fun. And I also let them know that you gotta have fun with it too. If you're not having fun, you need to get another job. It's challenging, it's exciting, the rewards are tremendous, there are ups and downs, but it is the most rewarding thing I think I've ever done.
Thank you.
It's great stuff. It's your community, why wouldn't it be fun?
Well, I was pushed into running to be a commissioner how many years ago? 12 years ago? I don't remember. I tried it. It was a 2-year stint, and I said I can handle 2 years, and I haven't gotten out of it yet. I think my favorite board is the board that has all differences of opinions on any topic, because you can really talk and you can get such great discussion, and you can make sure you look at the complete other side of anything before you make that decision. If there's a board that all believes the same way, you don't even have hardly much discussion. So I do love to have a very well-rounded board. I also love that we're nonpartisan, because then we don't have any of the politics that's happening in a lot of boards and, county, state, and on. So that's one of the greatest things that we have in our city. But yes, as a mayor, I think I just seek people that are kind, without personal agendas. If ever we need anyone to run, because we've had some boards that tend to be, they get angry, and it's more because of personal issues than it is on what's best for the city as a whole. Our job is not just for the residents. Our job is to look out for the business owners, our resort housing property owners, and our residents. And I look for a board that can look at that big picture.
Thank you.
I like to see that the whole community is represented, so it's a diverse board as well. But I will also tell you, I'm probably guilty of watching people that are thinking of running, and I am very cognizant if they're on another board. I like to see what their behavior is, because it goes back to your point. Are they kind? Are they respectful? And I'm not above trying to guide them somewhat. Your meetings are only as organized and structured as your board allows it to be. So if you have someone that you've seen on serving in some other capacity that is contentious always and creating disruptions, yeah, I'd have to take a serious look at that. So not that I'm the big influencer, but this is my 15th year as mayor, and I probably have learned a couple of things in that time period, I hope. But I'll continue. As far as who I'm going to support personally, I'm going to be looking at that, where they've served before and their behavior as they've served, because that's critical.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much for your time today. We really appreciate it. So just a few little housekeeping things. Again, thank you to everyone who attended today. And again, to our panel, all of our mayors of our surrounding cities. Thank you to our board of directors and our program committee. And now we can award the Tiger by the Tail little gift basket. Again, you do get this little gift basket to start off your fall decorations, as well as the free luncheon next month. And that is going to Ms. Liv Coleman for her question regarding keeping the youth here in cities, as well as the diversity that we can offer to them. So congratulations. You can come pick this up in just a sec. You want to have that? Thank you. All righty, so our next meeting is going to be November 16th. It's going to be on media and its influence. Just to note, this is the second Thursday of the month, not the third, due to Thanksgiving. Otherwise, thank you to Basil's, who offered our catering today, and then to our wait staff, who was able to serve each of you. And then we also thank the media coverage for luncheon, which is Mr. Charles Clapsaddle with METV and his team. We also appreciate ABC7 News team and Sarah Owens with the Community News Collaborative, Julia Hazel with Spectrum Bay 9 News, the Bradenton Herald, and the Sarasota Herald Tribune. And you guys have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.